Hey guys, QQ here with a quick public service announcement. See, there's this crowdfunding website called Patreon that's used as sort of a subscription service. The idea is that if there's some type of art that you have a particular fondness for that isn't so popular elsewhere, like, say, lavish prose fiction about pastel-colored equine animals, then you'd have a way of ensuring that it was profitable despite its limited popularity. The big problem with this service is that it's all too easy for someone to use it to collect money without actually creating anything in return. And it should go without saying that this is a monumentally shitty thing to do. But beyond that, because the folks running Patreon haven't done anything to stop this behavior, users from more seedy parts of the internet have taken matters into their own paws. Back on September 28th of 2015, the Patreon databases were hacked, and the information contained within spread throughout the internet. This means that any personal info that one gave to that service prior to September is now available publicly for anyone with an internet connection to see. This has led to many using such information for some rather underhanded things. And pretty much anyone with an account on Patreon, both creators and backers, were affected by this hack. On October 1st, Patreon staff made an announcement about the hack. Quote, "There was unauthorized access to registered names, email addresses, posts, and some shipping addresses. Additionally, some billing addresses that were added prior to 2014 were also accessed. We do not store full credit card numbers on our servers, and no credit card numbers were compromised. Although accessed, all passwords, social security numbers, and tax form information remain safely encrypted with a 2048-bit RSA key." Then later in the post they went on to say, quote, "We protect our users' passwords with a hashing scheme known as bcrypt, and randomly salt each individual password. Bcrypt is non-reversible, so passwords cannot be decrypted. We do not store plaintext passwords anywhere." End quote. Except, this alone is not enough to know if your data is actually safe. Using a public key crypto system like RSA for information like tax data is a interesting design choice. But what it means is that your data is only as secure as they keep their private key. If the private key was retrieved as part of the hack, then it doesn't matter how well encrypted your tax info is. It might as well just be plain text. And even the reassurance that they used bcrypt for passwords is not enough to know if your data is safe. I mean, sure, bcrypt is a fine hashing algorithm, but implementation issues can render that moot. Back on September 10th of 2015, 18 days before the Patreon hack, Sinosure Prime made a blog post all about how, due to a couple of implementation issues, they, quote, "cracked millions of Ashley Madison bcrypt hashes efficiently," end quote. If the programmers at Patreon made any similar mistakes in the implementation, your password is no more secure than the cracked Ashley Madison ones. Given how people like Chelsea Van Valkenburg, alias Zoe Quinn, and self-admitted Helldump user, have continued to use the Patreon service for welfare checks without staff doing anything to stop her, it's more than likely that their services will be hacked again. So I would urge all of you to discontinue use of this service, or at the very least, let all of your patrons know that by using Patreon, all of their personal information may basically end up being considered public knowledge. Patreon is legally not a bank. They're not members of the FDIC. They do not have to meet the standards that a real bank would when it comes to identity theft. It would be wise to switch to other payment services, such as Bitcoin or even Dogecoin, that don't require the admission of personal info to use. There are even methods you can use to set up recurring payments, so it works basically the same as Patreon's monthly subscription service. There's really no reason to continue using Patreon when much better, more secure alternatives already exist. Anyway, this is QQ signing off. Ciao!